Mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new
truck.
Yep,
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Hey folks, Bob Wine's big new color ad is out, and it's chock full of great deals for your yard. Just go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net and see for yourself. Still available, a great selection of fall garden mums. Yellow, purple, orange, and red, they're yours for just $10 each when you buy 2 or more. If you're looking for citrus, Bob Wines has a truly wonderful selection. Everything you can imagine, starting at $59.99. And that fabulous azalea event is still going on. All colors, all sizes, many are blooming right now. They're 50% off. Hanging baskets, they're everywhere, and you buy one and get another for half price. And speaking of half price, don't forget when you buy a tree at Bob Wines for as little as $49.99, you get another one for half price. Head over to Bob Wines today for the best in fall gardening. They're on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. Daily till 4, Saturdays till 3 for the gardening best in the same place since 1952.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Wednesday. I don't know if you have been listening to the in between breaks, but Richmond, Virginia, they're removing the last big monument to the Confederacy in the city that was the capital. If you're going to move the biggest monument to the Confederacy, cancel Richmond. It was the capital. Wednesday, the state of Virginia removed a 12-ton statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee more than 130 years after it was installed. That's in an effort to change the collective memory of the Civil War. Why would we want to do that? See, this is my problem. As a historian, I don't understand. And I know you're going to say systemic racism and, it breeds culture where people remember what, yeah, you should remember the atrocities that were slavery. You should remember the men who fought to uphold that so that you don't let people like that back in power ever again. Just because you take a statue down doesn't mean that the history changes. It's kind of like the NCAA. Reggie Bush didn't win the Heisman. Yes, hell he did. I saw him give him the Heisman. Well, we took it from him. He's not a Heisman winner. Yes, he is. You just took the trophy from him. Robert E. Lee is still the general of the Confederate Army because he wouldn't take a sword up against his home state of Virginia. Robert E. Lee was a slave owner. Robert E. Lee was an educated man at West Point. Robert E. Lee had very good redeeming factors, and he had some that weren't redeeming. That's all fact. You're not going to change that by taking a damn statue down. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks.
Yeah. He was what he was. He was one of the first people to retake the oath of loyalty after the end of the hostilities.
He was Lincoln offered him Lincoln offered him the job of Union general to run the Union Army.
Yeah, he had fought in the Mexican-American War previously.
Yeah, and by the way, all you people out there, if you think Lincoln was this progressive, just non-racist guy that was a great guy, you're horribly mistaken. Most whites in this country during that time of our country thought that the African-American race, the black race, was inferior to the white race, North and South.
Yeah, but he was not in favor of mistreatment that had been going on.
100%. He didn't think they should be in shackles and chains and owned and whipped and everything. All the atrocities of slavery, no man should be put through that. But he didn't think Abraham Lincoln didn't think the black race was on par with the white race. He thought they were an inferior race. Everybody during that time that was white pretty much did.
Yeah, no, he was in favor of setting up what became the country of Liberia in Africa.
Right. For liberty. He was going to liberate the Africans. People don't want to hear that part of history. Oh, Lincoln was this great guy. Robert E. Lee was this horrible guy. No. They all had their faults. Thanks for the call, Jim.
Okay.
They all had their faults. Lincoln, by definition, was a racist. He thought whites were superior to blacks. That's a fact. You can't deny. You can't run from that. He just didn't think that blacks should be chained up or be bought as sold as property because they were humans. Albeit humans below him, he still thought they were humans, so they shouldn't be treated like a piece of livestock. And he was right. But at that time, by today's definition, he was still a racist because he felt like the black community was inferior to him. History's ugly, people. History's good, it's bad, and it's ugly. I've said that numerous times on here. Taking down a damn statue isn't going to change that. Putting a statue up isn't going to change that. It's not. You know why? Because history's happened. You can't change what's happened. You have no idea what's going to happen. You can't change what's already happened. All you can do is live in the moment you're in. But to go back and try to erase by taking monuments down or statues down or, trying to soften the story up or tell the story differently, you're doing the same thing. Oh, we need to teach critical race theory in school. No, we don't. We need to teach history in school. If you teach history the way it was happened in America, critical race theory will get in there. There's a reason there was a Brown versus the Board of Education. Critical race theory will be taught if you teach history correctly. It won't be called critical race theory. It'll be called history. Because, by the way, at times, it wasn't good. If you teach it properly, you tell about the atrocities of slavery. You talk about what the blacks had to go through all the way up until the 1960s with the equal rights laws and what they still go through on a daily basis now, if you teach history to the present, then you don't have to have this argument about critical race theory. You've taught history. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. It's Jim again. My father started working for the post office after he got out of World War II in 1947. It was even before he met my mother. And he knew all kinds of people in the post office because the post office was one of the few places that hired all comers. Pass the exam and you were in. And he knew Catholics, Protestants, whites, blacks, Germans, Italians, Irish, and they all did one thing. They kept the mail moving.
Yes, they certainly did. A very diverse group, the U.S. Postal Service. But if you want to take a statue down, take a statue down. You're not going to change what that person's contribution to the history of this country was. You want to take Nathan B. Forrest's name off high schools and stuff like that? Okay. You're not going to change what Nathan B. Forrest did for the history of this country. You're not going to change what happened because of Nathan B. Forrest and who he was. Take Jeb Stuart or Kirby Smith down. You're not going to change what their contributions to the Confederacy was. You're just not. William Tecumseh Sherman, by all accounts, was a horrible person. He was a mean, angry man who didn't have very many friends and was not well liked. So you don't hear about that. You hear, General Sherman, he took the will of the South and he broke it by burning and razing 40-mile wide swaths from Atlanta all the way to Savannah. Yeah, killing people, killing livestock, ruining the farm system and everything along the way for years and years to come. That's fact. You hear about, Christopher Columbus, he found the New World. Christopher Columbus murdered the Aborigine Indians that were on the Caribbean islands he went to because it was easier than try to talk to them because he didn't know whether they were dangerous or not, so it was just best to kill them all. Yeah, Christopher Columbus, the Italian that discovered the New World. By the way, did not, but that's the credit we want to give him. If he was so popular, why do we call the place America after Amerigo Vespucci? Why do we call it Columbia after Columbus? Why is it the whole continent, instead of South America, North America, why is it known as South Columbia, South Columbus, and North Columbus? They're bad people in history. They're good people in history. They're so-so people in history. You're not going to change that by taking monuments down. You're not going to change that by teaching critical race theory to show systemic racism to blacks throughout, the time of our country. Hello, there were signs that said colored and white at water fountains, at bathrooms. Blacks had to sit on the back of the bus. They weren't thought that they were good enough to sit in the front of the bus. They couldn't eat at lunch counters where white people ate. It was racist. We know that. I tell you this all the time. You cannot use the morals of today to police yesterday. Because, by the way, 100 years from now, somebody's going to use the morals of 100 years from now to try to police the whack jobs that are here today. Think about that. It is ridiculous to me that people think removing monuments or taking down historical markers that tell stories are going to change how people view history or how they look at history. It is, because we're not going to teach history. We're going to teach what you want as history. We're not going to be objective. We're going to be subjective. And that's not teaching history. That's teaching divisiveness. People want to teach things not to bring us together as unity, but to divide us. Just teach history. Let history be what it is. Somebody said, all right, I want to go chip away the face of Stone Mountain. Yeah, good luck with that. But believe me, I understand the other side of the coin too. The daughters of the Confederacy and everything. It was 4 years, people. The Simpsons have been on TV 8 times longer than the Confederate States of America existed. And by the way, never recognized by any other foreign entity. So by definition, wasn't really a country. It was just a group of people who rose up against their own country. Don't let history get in the way of, that's true. That's fact. The Confederate States of America was an ideology of 4 years. 4. 1861 when South Carolina seceded to 1865 when Lee signed the treaty, when Lee signed the surrender at Appomattox. That's it, folks. That's it. If you don't agree with that, that's your problem because that's fact. Good morning, you're on Ocala Talks.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. Yeah, there was some rumbling that if the Confederacy had been the victors at Gettysburg, then perhaps the British would have come in on their side.
Jim, Lincoln had told his generals, if we lose at Gettysburg, which was a real possibility, except yeah. Lee took the gentleman way out and said we don't fight during the nighttime, so he wouldn't listen to Longstreet when Longstreet wanted to continue after him on the battlefield. And there's a very famous painting by Dale Gallen that dictates that, says, tomorrow we shall attack them. And then we know how that happened. Charged up, Seminary Ridge 3 times. Pickett's charge was dispelled. There was a virtual draw at Gettysburg. Nobody won, nobody lost. And Lincoln had given his generals the orders, if we lose Gettysburg, sue for peace, and we'll figure out how to exist with the Confederate States of America. It was that close.
Because if Lee had been able to turn the plank, he would have been able to have marched straight into Washington,
right,
with no opposition.
But that's history. Thanks, Jim, for the call. That's accurate history. It was one conversation away from turning the tide to where there would have been a Confederate States of America. There would have been that Lincoln would have sued for peace, and the British would have recognized him. But it didn't turn out that way. So in retrospect, the Confederate States of America was an uprising that lasted 4 years. The Confederacy lasted just long enough to qualify for pre-K. But people who are very fond of the Confederacy and want it to be their legacy and their heritage and all don't want to hear that. I'm sorry, that's the fact of the matter. Just as Lincoln was a racist. Fact. Most white people, I would say 90% of white people in this country at the time were racist. They wanted to abolish the act of slavery because it was an abhorrent thing, but they still didn't think that blacks were their equal. By definition, that's racist. For you to think the color of your skin makes you better than the color of somebody else's because of the color of their skin, that makes you racist. But people that want to talk about how great Lincoln was and all, they don't want to hear it when you say Lincoln was a racist. People that don't want to hear, the Confederacy wasn't that it only lasts 4 years. They don't want to hear that. It's heritage. It's my life. It's how I grew up. It was 4 years. Now, the Jim Crow laws, the Klan, stuff like that lasted for a long, long time. But that wasn't the Confederacy. Everybody wants to loop it all in together, but you can't. Complete different entities. But I get so fed up when we think that just taking a monument and replacing it or putting it in storage or moving the 5 Flags of Florida from the where they were at McPherson right next to 25th Avenue, moving it back in the complex back by the museum so it's out of sight, out of mind. History's still there, folks. There were 5 flags of Florida. One of them was a Confederate flag, a country that was not recognized by any other country. But for 4 years, that flag flew over the state of Florida. That's fact. You can't make that up. Just like everybody wants you to think the Stars and Bars is a Confederate flag. Lie. Confederate flag looks nothing like the Stars and Bars. Stars and Bars was I think it was the 104th Mississippi. It was the regiment, their battle flag, that Robert E. Lee then adopted as the battle flag of the Northern Virginia Army. That's what the Stars and Bars is. It was never the Confederate flag, ever. But you see these people, oh, that's a Confederate flag. It needs to be banned. You're an idiot. It's not a Confederate flag. Confederate flag had 12 stars, 3 colors. 3 bars and 12 stars. That was the Confederate flag. Look at the state of Georgia's flag. That's the Confederate flag with the state of Georgia emblem in it. They fought for years to get the Stars and Bars taken off the Georgia flag because it was racist. And instead, they voted in a landslide. Blacks, whites, everybody voted in a landslide to replace it with the Confederate States of America flag with the Georgia emblem in the middle of the stars. You don't believe me? Go look at the Confederate States of America flag compared to the Georgia state flag. It's the same dadgum flag, except there's a Georgia emblem in the flag, in the Georgia flag. But people don't know history. They were getting rid of the Confederate flag and replacing it with this Georgia flag now. No, you weren't. You're replacing the battle flag of the Northern Virginia Army with the actual Confederate States of America flag is what you did in Georgia. Because you're ignorant of history. That's the problem, folks. It's not that it's not history's fault. It's your ignorance of history. The vast majority of people want history the way they think it is in their mind, and they're ignorant of the actual history. Read a damn book. Do some research. Find out that the largest plantation in the United States was in Illinois. Find that out. How about that? Oh, wait, but that goes against the narrative because Illinois wasn't in the South. Duh. Lincoln's emancipation only freed the slaves in the South. Slavery was not illegal in the North, just the sale of slaves had been made illegal. Oh, wait, Tom, that's not yeah, that's accurate. Wasn't practiced a whole lot in the North, but there were still slave owners in the North. It's the ignorance of history that gets people in trouble because they think they know what they're talking about. And 9 times out of 10, they got bits and pieces right, but the actual history, wrong. You know, just enough to make you dangerous, but not enough to know what the hell you're talking about. But you think you do. It's amazing how that works. Amazing. Hey, let's get to birthdays today. Something that, start talking about something else. Birthdays today. But don't take the statues down, folks. Leave, teach. Don't remove. How about that? Let me get to my birthdays today. Where are they? Here they are. Today, Alan Feinstein, looking for Mr. Goodbar. In that movie, he's 80. Bernie Sanders, Mr. Give things to everybody for free, they'll love you. He's 80 today. Heather Thomas, a woman who helped shape my teenage years. She's 64 today. David Arquette, he's 50 today. Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Home Improvement. You ready to be old? He turns 40 today. That's right. Jonathan Taylor Thomas of Home Improvement. He was a child in Home Improvement. 40 today. Wow, that'll make you feel old. Hey, this is a true story, and it's perfect. You know this. There's this is out of our book of the overly obvious. A professor of psychology at Arizona State University has conducted research at 7 major universities, and wait for it, he has found college students were significantly more likely to wear school-themed apparel after their team wins a football game. Whoa, oh! Stop the presses. Breaking news. Breaking news. College kids are more likely to be proud of their university and wear their university's insignia after they win a football game. The scary thing is he probably got a grant to do that. We're worried about taking statues down. How about worried about giving frivolous dollars to something like this? How about real world problems, people? Hey, I want to thank my guests today. We had some informative guests talking about 20 years since 9/11 and plus Trucker Appreciation Week. I want to thank all my callers and you, the listener. Without you, this program would not be possible. I am Tom Schmitz. This is Ocala Talk. We'll be back tomorrow. Same source time, same source channel. See you then.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
The nonprofit The Intercept has produced a trove of documents detailing Dr. Anthony Fauci's deceit to the American